If you stood on the southern tip of Manhattan Island 400 years ago, the tallest thing around you would be a white oak tree. The landscape was a rolling terrain of salt marshes, wooded hills, and quiet streams, managed for generations by the Lenape people. Today, that exact same soil supports the densest concentration of vertical ambition on Earth. New York City didn't just grow, it fractured, reinvented, and rebuilt itself over and over. Locked on a narrow island bounded by rivers, New York had only one direction to go: up. But building the sky wasn't an accident of engineering. It was a centuries-long war between gravity, greed, and the human ego. This is the story of how a small Dutch trading post became the architectural blueprint of the modern world. Before it touched the clouds, New York was a low-slung city of wood and brick. It was a horizontal metropolis, expanding outward along a strict grid system laid down in 1811. But everything changed on the freezing night of December 16, 1835. The Great Fire of New York ripped through Lower Manhattan, leveling 17 blocks and destroying over 600 buildings. The city realized that wood was too vulnerable. To rebuild, New York needed something sturdy, fireproof, and abundant. Enter the asterisk brownstone. Mined from massive quarries in Portland, Connecticut, and northern New Jersey, this reddish-brown sandstone became the uniform of the city's 19th-century boom. Wealthy industrial families commissioned endless rows of these elegant townhouses. But the most famous feature of the brownstone, the iconic stoop, wasn't actually a fashion statement. It was a brilliant, practical solution to a disgusting problem. In the 1800s, New York streets were frequently flooded with mud, trash, and thousands of tons of horse manure. The high staircase elevated the family's grand parlor floor safely above the filth of the street, while the servants' entrance was tucked away underneath. As the late 1800s arrived, millions of immigrants poured through Ellis Island. Horizontal space completely vanished. Tenements became overcrowded, and real estate prices skyrocketed. The city was choking on its own horizontal limits. To survive, it needed a radical technological leap. It needed to break the physical boundaries of stone. For thousands of years, architecture was limited by weight. If you wanted to build a taller stone building, the bottom walls had to be incredibly thick to support the weight above it. But in the late 19th century, two inventions tore down those rules forever. The structural steel frame, which acted as an internal skeleton to bear the building's weight, and Elisha Otis's safety elevator, which made climbing 80 floors effortless. Suddenly, the sky was open for business, and by the late 1920s, a massive architectural ego war erupted in Midtown Manhattan. This was the age of Art Deco, a style characterized by geometric patterns, bold lines, and shimmering metals that celebrated industrial progress. Buildings weren't just offices anymore, they were corporate advertisements reaching for the stars. The battle for the title of world's tallest building came down to a fierce, bitter rivalry between car tycoon Walter Chrysler and his former partner turned rival, architect H. Craig Severance. Severance was building the Bank of Manhattan Trust Building at 40 Wall Street. He adjusted his plans mid-construction to reach 927 feet, believing he had successfully secured the world record. But Chrysler and his architect, William Van Allen, had a secret weapon. Deep inside the hidden upper floors of the Chrysler building, a crew secretly assembled a 185-foot stainless steel spire. On October 23, 1929, just days after 40 Wall Street was completed, the spire was hoisted through the roof and bolted into place in just 90 minutes. Chrysler had blindsided his rival and won the crown at 1,046 feet. But his victory was incredibly short-lived. Less than a mile away, a new titan was rising. In 1931, the Empire State Building was completed, rising a staggering 1,250 feet. It was built at an unbelievable pace of 4.5 floors per week, finishing in just 410 days during the depths of the Great Depression. It stood as a monument of pure human will, a cathedral of limestone and steel that defined the New York skyline for the next 40 years. After the devastation of World War II, New York's mood shifted. The intricate ornamentation, gargoyles, and stone sculptures of the Art Deco era suddenly felt old-fashioned, expensive, and chaotic. Corporate America wanted to look forward. They wanted efficiency, transparency, and logic. This brought the rise of the asterisk international style asterisk, or what we know today as the classic glass and steel skyscraper. Buildings like the Seagram Building on Park Avenue, designed by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, stripped away all decorative lies. The building was the structure. Made with a frame of solid bronze and amber-tinted glass, it set back from the street to create an open public plaza. Soon, identical glass boxes came to dominate Manhattan, symbolizing the corporate power of the post-war boom. But this frantic rush toward the future came with a devastating cultural cost. In 1963, despite desperate protests from architects and citizens, the city demolished the original Pennsylvania Station, a historic masterpiece of pink granite, massive Doric columns, and soaring iron and glass ceilings designed by McKim, Mead and White. It was completely leveled to make way for the modern, concrete Madison Square Garden. The loss deeply traumatized the city. The New York Times wrote a scathing editorial, stating, asterisk, "We will not be judged by the monuments we build, but by those we destroy." Asterisk. Out of the dust of Penn Station, a powerful preservation movement was born. The city established the Landmarks Preservation Commission, ensuring that while New York would always build the future, it would no longer be allowed to completely erase its past. Today, New York's architectural evolution has entered an entirely new frontier. If you look at the skyline now, you will see a new breed of structure dominating the heavens. The asterisk super-tall slender. Clustered along 57th Street, known as Billionaires Row, these towers have completely rewritten the physics of architecture. Buildings like 111 West 57th Street have a height-to-width ratio of 24:1, making it the thinnest skyscraper in the world. These pencil-thin needles are enabled by space-age, ultra-dense concrete and massive internal computer-controlled weights called tuned mass dampers that prevent the buildings from swaying in high-altitude winds. They require microscopic footprints of land but yield billions of dollars in luxury vertical real estate. At the exact same time, mega projects like Hudson Yards have shifted the city's center of gravity westward, transforming old, industrial rail yards into futuristic, elevated glass neighborhoods. New York continues to solve its lack of space by inventing new space out of thin air. New York City's architecture has never been about uniformity or perfection. It is a beautiful, chaotic conversation across generations. It is a place where a 19th-century neo-Gothic church sits peacefully in the literal shadow of a 21st-century glass monolith. A classic brownstone stoop provides the perfect frame to view a super-tall needle piercing the clouds. It is an architecture born of strict geographic constraint, fueled by unyielding capital, and built by millions of hands. New York will never be finished. Because as long as there are dreamers on this island, there will always be someone trying to build just a little bit closer to the stars.